In a flat up in Chicago with a keyboard and some tea lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be.
Never get tired of that.
Ditched his law degree for plugins that go
Good morning. It's working. It's working. It's working.
We've
We've got a bunch of you guys already in here. I love when a plan comes together. Today, by the way, I'm very excited. I was told, I might be wrong, more sounds. I was told that they gave me sound effects. It's like almost StreamYard was listening to my show last week. Obviously not. And they gave me already sounds involved here. So we're going to need a couple of these other ones. We're going to need definitely some laugh track. For those of you who are a little more cynical, look at this. Right, I won't play with this all day. Good morning. Today is an example. I'm going to go live with a real life use case. I've got a good friend of mine, Harry Maisel, went to high school with, grew up with. He runs, he's a real estate person, but he runs on the side a hobby business of making honey. It's delicious. I've already gone through a couple bottles. And so Harry needs a web presence, and I decided to help him out here. And I'm going to do it live by using the tools of Minute Launch AI and show you my process, because some of you have said, Spence, the best thing about the shows, let me adjust my camera, by the way. The best thing about the shows is that you just show live what you're doing, all your mistakes and foibles and everything. And I think that it's important for me to actually demonstrate that I have real world clients. I have real world friends that I often present things to. But by actually using the tools, sometimes I struggle as well. Today, I don't think I'm going to struggle, but I'm going to also show you a lot of stuff that's been happening. I'm setting up my desktop. So today is going to be a live build out from literally moment one. And in the course of 40 minutes, we'll have a live site. I want to say hi to everybody who's here. Good morning. Good morning. Sharon and John, thanks for joining me as always. And is the audio, everything else good? I've got my honeybee yellow on, my favorite color. So it all works out well. Just let me know if everything sounds good. Okay, let me start, by the way, because many of you were interested in this. I'm going to do a little housekeeping first. Number one is that a few new tools have come out, including something that was called Nano Banana. And all these crazy terms are hard to keep up with. Oh, look at that. I didn't know I actually have I have some kind of a new panel that I'm allowed to show called a scene panel. Very interesting. Sorry, I'm a kid distracted this morning. StreamYard had a new update and they've just added some super cool stuff. Like, remember I've been bitching and moaning about how I can't move the screens around? They've given me a way to just like really quick go from one to the other. This is going to be great. Okay. Nano Banana, I want to show you real quick before we get into it too much, because and here I'm going to share the screen, because it really is a fascinating example of how fast stuff is moving and changing and so forth. So to share this, I'm going to do just the window. Let's see if I can pull this off. I'm still not perfect at doing this, but I'm getting better. All right. This is not Nano Banana. This is an app that I'm building for Minute Launch, which I'm going to share with you as well. But Nano Banana is essentially Google's new image generation that allows you to do some crazy cool stuff dynamically. And I'm building, as part of this really Fernando's Fast Factory, an app that will be in Minute Launch Studio. Thank you, Sharon, by the way. So let me show you, first of all, Nano Banana in general. I can show you through their Google API. I have a jillion things going on here, so let me clean up a little bit. My development mess. One of these windows is going to show us what we want. Not this one, not this one. Okay. Google AI Studio is available for you or anyone else to play with. So you can actually do what's going on here. And one of the new tools in it, it comes with a modest AI quota, but it allows you to essentially do some crazy stuff where, remember we had Fernando? Let's add Fernando. And there's nothing really Oh, good. Sharon's doing it on her big ass TV. I love that. Let's take Fernando, who is my AI buddy, and I'm going to upload him. And what's interesting here is, I mean, a lot of things, but watch this. Let's use my voice control, which I'm going to start up here. Whisper typing. Okay, once the whisper typing is up, you'll see it here. Okay, let's try. Add a gigantic Fu Manchu mustache onto this dude. Make it really huge and hairy. Crazy prompt, right? Let's see what it'll do. What it does is it takes any image and it can really almost, this is Vince DePinto, if you're watching today while you're working on the porch, it can make things happen that were really difficult to do. So I don't know if this is zoomed in enough, so I'm going to zoom in a little better. That's not zooming in that well, but see, we took Fernando and we made him Fu Manchu. Let's do some other stuff that's just really would have been crazy hard to achieve, in my opinion, right? I'm going to enable Google Drive here just so I can save my junk in case I want to. Hold on. All right. I just made it save to my personal folder. Let's do another one with Fernando again. And these are just examples of things you could do instead of working with Photoshop or even Canva. Although Canva does a better job of managing overall, this is what we're going to be doing with an API. And I'll show you what I built in a second. But I thought that this was a great suggestion and also a great example. Thank you, John, for this. John is one of my more progressive AI instigators. I'm going to call you as part of the club. That we can do things now programmatically with voice that we would have otherwise had to use tools to do. And that's what I'm going to show you as well when I build out the Honey by Harry site. So let's get Fernando. Okay, let's do something different this time. Change the background color from that brown color into show Fernando at the beach. Have him wearing a sun hat and sunglasses, and somebody is coming up from behind him and photobombing him. That's just a crazy amount of stuff to ask for. Let's see what it does. The AI has achieved the singularity as far as I'm concerned when it comes to being able to do crazy cool stuff from a Photoshop standpoint. And this is where Vince DePinto and I were I just love this. This is where Vince DePinto and I were having an argument because not an argument because he's on board, but just that there is immediately no comparison. All right. I mean, you guys pipe in here if you want, but how long would it take you, even with Canva or professional tools, to do something like that? Like a trillion years. I'm sorry, but even Vince, who's been doing this his whole life, to make something like that, he used to have to trace this. I remember using the original tools where there was a little, like purple tool that you'd have to outline it. What am I going to do about this? Well, here's an example on the boards. This is not finished because I'm still just getting it set up. But imagine a situation with the media library using Media Hub where you just have this capability built in, right? So you open up with the Media Hub editor or the media library, a picture, and all you're going to need to do, although this is still a work in progress, is just say exactly like you would have said to Nano Banana. Take this green background and make it red, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just use it directly since, unfortunately, I have not finished the plugin yet. You took one of my Marlboro ad photos and asked to change the writer. Yeah. And John, you were a professional photographer, so I don't know did you use Photoshop yourself? What do you think of this? Because quite frankly, this blows my mind. Let's use this image that we just had. And Nano Banana is just an example of a tool that, I'm going to show you some other things I did yesterday while I was on a bike ride with my kid. Just freaked me out. It was so fun. All right, so let's see, where did I download this? Okay, let's try what I would be doing with the local version, right? So change the green background to red. And the ping pong balls or number balls, mix them in with poker chips from Caesar's Palace or a similar casino. I'm just throwing shit out there, right? Let's see what it does. It reminds me of like a craps table. Now, one of the things I'm going to do with this as part of the build out today is I'm going to show you how, although I still prefer Canva for a lot of stuff, check that out. That's just madness. That not only did that, but you can see it's even got in the poker chips. I've been to Caesar's Palace. It says Caesar's Palace. Says Caesar's Palace. These aren't what they really look like, but from an interpretive standpoint, come on. There's no human being can do that right now. They just can't do that. It would take forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use this. I have a picture that Harry gave me. One of the things I do for research, right? If I look up Harry's honey, I don't think he might have a YouTube channel. Oh no, he does. I don't know if this is him or not. Hold on. I know what Harry looks like. Yeah, that's him. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if this is Harry's existing or old website. I don't think Harry's watching, but if he is, he can pipe in. I think this is something else. Harry's honeypot. Harry not being necessarily a hard to remember name. I think this is his Facebook, let's say. That is not him. I'll look him up. This is my business Facebook, not my personal. There he is. There's Harry. So this is Harry with his bees. And that is Harris's clinic. So Harry's honey, I think this might be him. No, that's in UK. Well, that's interesting too. So one of the things that's interesting, I was like just doing this cold turkey. I will research somebody who doesn't know any different because that's not his main thing and try to figure out what we can use for the assets. This is Harry, which is awesome, but I think he's doing this on his personal account and he's a real estate broker. So I wanted to just see, there's that handsome young man when I knew him. I wanted to see if there's any assets in here about Harry's honey. I don't think there is necessarily. So what he did give me though, and I'll come back to this, is he did give me an image. So let's take an image that he gave me. And we're going to do something else with Nano Banana. Nano Banana. I think it's in downloads. It's this one. So this is their service product. And what I'm going to say is this. I want to take this and turn it into a banner image that's at least 1400 pixels wide. It's got to go at the top of a website. So can you extend the background and make it that it shows some happy people in the background enjoying something like toast or bread with honey on it, and they're dancing and singing. But I like the fact that it's otherwise on the edge of a cliff looking over Lake Michigan there. Can you expand this into a larger image for me? Thanks. Notice how I actually said thanks. What it can do is imagine this thing in a different scene. So I need a big banner image, let's say. And so what this can do is take the original asset and make more stuff around it. Like, come on, this is so awesome. I'm not saying I'm going to use this, but I'm just saying these are the things that when we're talking about the modern minute launch system, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be doing the work of dragging stuff around. You're not. I think it got confused because it showed a gentleman with a yarmulke on. So I think when I said high holiday, this is funny as shit. It says high holidays honey, which means it's kosher parev. It actually took the intuition to interpret that into this must be people of the Jewish faith celebrating something like the high holidays with honey on there. I mean, it didn't make matzah, but it might as well have. That was pretty clever. So one of the things that can be done is you can click and further reinforce this or add to this, but like just out of the box, this is pretty crazy. Now, another thing it can do, even though I think in the images area is I think, and I don't know if I have to add a prompt or the same thing. I would probably have to save this asset. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, here it says like rerun, more options, branch from here. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So now it can I think, branch off, and I don't know if I'm doing this right, to be honest, because I've just started using this tool. Can you also make these people animated into a video clip? Because I think this has also got Veo 3 that we've already got the plugin for. I think this can take the static thing and turn it into video, which would be the part of maybe a future clip or an 8-second clip or an intro that we add music to. Okay, so I'm in the wrong space for that, which is okay. And I'm not 100% sure what this branch does. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image. I'm going to see if I can paste it here. And I'm going to say, I love what you've done with this image. Can you create a series of images that I can use for the product? Take the product and show it like it was if it was made for an e-commerce website. And I'm going to need to sell a couple different sizes and quantities. So give me a single shot, a double shot, maybe a triple shot, and maybe in a different type of a background. I don't know if it can do this, but it's possible it can do that. And what I'm trying to say is, can you make it into e-commerce ready images that are not necessarily, the original thing? Right. So I'm going to show what John is suggesting. I know I can actually go back to using Veo 3, or we can use Flow Videos, to be honest with you. For you guys, while it's working here, I would actually end up using Flow Videos. So if I went to the front of the site, you guys have seen me do this. I've already got a functional application. I'm calling a plugin, if you will. These are all, everything I'm showing here is for WordPress. So I'm just demonstrating some of the tools, but what's interesting, I'm not sure which Evo plugin you referred to, but I was saying Veo, V-E-O, and that's this. So Google has Veo 3, which allows the generation of both images and using Imagen 3. These are different brands or different products. The Imagen 3 has been superseded by Google Flash 4. Or 2.5. I have no freaking idea how they come up with these names, but I could use the Flow application that I built here, which is built on WordPress and allows you to use your assets in WordPress to queue a series of videos. And this is what I would do. I would probably use this tool right now where I can seriously just put in my whole script, 8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds. And the reason for that is that this is all available as part of the Minute Launch system. And you can get this, I'll type it in here. You can get it right at wplaunchify.com. And I will actually show you where. You just go to wplaunchify.com and you go to the shop, and I'll give you the direct link. These are all available as part of our new club, where you can not only participate with what we're already doing, but you can also get the benefit of being able to add your wishes into the list. This is a 1-year fully hosted solution, including the AI for most of the stuff that I'm showing here. So I hope you'll join us. Most of the people here have done so. And this is on top of the normal Minute Launch stuff that you get with the software bundle. You can upgrade to get the software bundle if you want. This is just all the AI stuff for us to play with in a format that's ready to go for WordPress. And look at my other videos, you'll see more. In any event, when we're using Flow Video, this would be a great way to make a script. So for this, I could do like, scene 1, Harry does this, okay? And then I can add it to the queue, and then I can do scene 2 and scene 3 and scene 3. And that's what I'm gonna probably end up doing if I want to take a bunch of 8-second clips and make it into something for social media or for content marketing. But what I wanted to also show you was this allows me to generate cool videos. If you look at what I've already made, I previously made 2 or 3 videos for Harry that would be maybe the basis of that. One is like a honeybee on a flower. I hope you will join us. It's we're going to be on an awesome adventure. This is the kind of stuff that I could have gotten Getty stock images. Like, I can direct this specifically what to make. So here's what I'm going to do. I could say, for example, instead of, just whatever I've already imported and made, I could say, for example, let's make a new one that shows this product doing something super cool, right? So to do that, let's do a combination of things. First of all, let's take this asset. I'm going to copy this image address. And I'm going to go into Flow, and we'll see how this actually works live without a net. Let me go back here. So I'm going to generate a new one. I'm going to put it in here, and I don't have a setup at the moment that allows me to put in the assets from outside. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to say, take the people in this image and animate them, show them dancing and singing and having fun about the honey. I'm going to be specific. Make the camera zoom out and then in, and pan around them a little bit to get a perspective of the lake shore and everything else behind them, and add the sound of guitar music as well. Okay, now we'll call this Dancing with Honey. Let's see if this can pull it off. I think it can. I've never tried to paste in an asset before, because what I need to probably do for the API here is include that functionality that normally when you use Veo itself, you have a thing like I just showed you to upload the image. I'm going to see whether or not this pulls it off. Let's go back over here and see if it did anything with my other prompt. So it did do a single generation, which is awesome. It took Harry's picture, and this is really important. It turned it into something I could actually use inside of the website. Could not be any more important, right? Because, you don't want an image that's necessarily too busy. If I took this and I further generated it, I would probably, again, do the same kind of thing and go, oh, I take it back. It didn't do one. It did the triple. Sorry. I got ahead of myself. It did the single, the double, and the triple. Fantastic. So I don't even have to do that. But watch what I can do. I could say, I love what you did, but I need you to zoom in and also turn the angle a little bit closer to 45 degrees, both up and to the left. No way you're going to be able to do this easily, because doing perspective changes is really, really hard to do when you're using Photoshop or other way. You literally have to change the axis and the ratios, and it's been a struggle. But the concept here is that you can create all of your assets. So what I'm demonstrating for you is, before you do stuff, find out from the client what's going on. Now, I don't know whether or not he has a logo. What I really like to use for, all logo purposes is still this. So I'm going to use the Canva AI instead of the regular thing. I want to create a logo for a honey company. It's called Honey by Harry, and it should be really light and colorful, have three main colors. It should be white on the background. Primary is a honeybee yellow, black, and gray. Make it fanciful, colorful, put a bee of some kind drawing into the image. I need a logo in two ratios. I need a square 500 by 500, and I need a rectangle that's horizontal for the banner of a website. Now, again, becoming specific, like you're talking to a 13-year-old, is a big deal, because otherwise it's just going to throw any old stuff at you. And instead of us specifically dragging tools around, we can just tell the AI specialty tools what to make. Canva is nice because, unlike the other stuff that just makes it in a vacuum, here I can actually do stuff with it and I can iterate. So for example, it's not really great with letters. I'm going to admit to you that, but in terms of where it's going, I don't like any of those. I want the background to be white. I want the colors to be bold and really simple, not in between oranges, but literally honeybee yellow, black, and gray. And I want it to be more contemporary, kind of clean and light. I want something that's like Cracker Barrel. There we go. Not bad. Interesting. Not my favorite. Okay, I'm thinking in my head. In my head, I'm thinking a white, fully white background, a circle that has a bold black outline, and then put the Honey by Harry inside of that. I like the stuff that's super clean and minimal. Sometimes what you'll find, and this is a debate that legitimately still holds water, you could get faster or farther by starting with something you like and then telling it to modify it than just throwing darts at a dartboard. But here we go. So I kind of like where it's going with these. I know it's goofy. There's the one. Okay. Okay, I like the one that I've got highlighted now. That's the white. It says Honey by Harry. I don't know what that weird text and font stuff is. Can you basically take that one and modify it to get rid of all the extraneous text and make the Honey by Harry kind of bigger and go farther around? I'm not saying I really like this one, but I mean, it's the one that was in my head as a starting point. And these tools are adaptive, so they're not all like, we're not here 100% yet, but boy, oh boy, if you ever work, there we go. Honey by Harry. If you ever worked with a real person, it's not that different. This one actually is really nice. I think I like that one the best. I'm going to go with this one. Okay. Fantastic. I love this one, but I want you to give it to me in several formats. I want you to give it to me in rectangular format where you maybe background it with some kind of rectangle. I also want you to flip the colors so that I can have alternatives, but stay with the three primary colors, to stay with all the designs. I'm going to be using it at the top of a website and for the site icon. And the site icon is the thing that shows up in the browser tab. You need to have that square shape, but it can give me a portfolio, and then it can open it up in the Canva editor ready as a project, which is what I'm shooting for here. Instead of me dragging the mouse around, I got like a bunch of stuff, a bunch of tools working in the background. Oh, that one is actually adorable. I think it misinterpreted what I was saying, but I don't know if you guys think so. I think this one is actually cuter. Okay. Okay. So this is my final one. Can I just open this in the editor, or do you have to do something else for me? I don't know how this works, to be honest. Okay, so just use the editor. Let's see. All right, so what's neat in Canva is I can also remove the background because I don't really need that. And this little doodad shadow, I can probably use the AI tools here as well. Here's the little doodad at the bottom. How do you remove the shadow from this? That's not helpful. Yeah, this tool is awesome. I mean, as far as like getting stuff done, I'm not going to take all day on this, but I don't 100% know what's happening. I think what I have to do is treat this like an image because that's what it is. So I would probably use the magic eraser or something like that, or maybe it's got some tool that's doing the shadows. Let's see what happens if I use the brush. I'm not even going to be trying to be really good with this. And I'm going to do magic eraser. And let's see if it figures out that didn't work. So this is interesting because what I think this says to me is that the AI is getting us to like a concept. And what I would personally do, I would definitely remove the background. And what I would probably do myself is I would crop this or do something with this that gives me more control, because right now this is just an image and I don't really need like the whole image. So probably what I'll do is I'll smart crop. Let's see how smart it is. Not very smart. Let's try another way. This is the person using the tool. I'm going to, I don't like any of these tools, to be honest. So let's do this. I'm going to just copy this image and I'm going to create a new design. And again, this isn't necessary. I'm just showing you how I work. So I struggle with this all the time. I'm going to just make a new page for simplicity. I'm going to paste this in, but what I'm going to do is, this thing is just locked in there. Let's edit this. See, this is what I was saying. Like everybody says, Spence, I love it when you struggle. Yeah, I struggle. I struggle a lot. I can't figure out why the hell this thing is locked in here. So I got to do something different. I'm going to put in a background element that's a rectangle. just so I can get a sense of what I am doing here. This is where I'm having my struggle. My struggle is this seems to want to only be what it is. So I'm going to, I could use a frame. Let's try a frame. I'm going to put a frame in and let's see if it'll honor the frame when I go to paste into it. No. So I'm struggling because I can't get this sucker out of here. So I can either download it or I'm lazy. And this is just for like real quick and dirty. So I'm going to use my snipping tool because I'm Spence and I can do that. It's my show. Try to stop me. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is just paste this in. Now I have some degree of like, aha, this is where I was going with that. And all I wanted to achieve was, I don't need the actual outline of a frame. I just wanted to achieve a different ratio, right? So if I do something like this and I wanted to, you know, let's say build it in with some real text, I just have a little bit better control, right? So I'm not saying I have to do this. Honey by Harry. And I'm not sure what font this is or any of that nonsense. But if you follow my drift, I could make something very, very, very simple using this technique. And this is how I iterate because I can see visually whether I like something, I can align it. It's just fast, it's easy. It's kind of redundant because other thing says Honey by Harry. So what I might do here is this. I might just be inspired by that. I'm going to go with circle. And this can be no color in the background. And maybe just a very tiny, that's not what I want. I want a tiny border. Stroke, maybe 1 pixel. And the color of the stroke can be maybe a gray. Okay, now what I would do here is I would just use elements. I would do honeybee. And I'd probably do a drawing. There's got to be something adorable. Look at that. How adorable is that? So if Spence was doing it on his own, I might end up with something like this. And I think I probably need some honey. So let's have the honeybee getting some honey. Honey. I don't know. That looks kind of weird. I'm not intending to do that, but I was saying it's kind of weird because like dripping off of the bee, that might be just gross. How about just the insinuation of the honey? And for that, we can kind of scale it into there a little bit. I am not in any way, shape, or form a graphic designer. And as such, I am not claiming to make this awesome. I'm just simply giving you an inspiration. And I'm going to put the honey near the top. So I'm going to layer, bring to front. And I've got something that I could certainly make better. But boy, that just kind of gets me into the range. Okay. And what I would do here is I'm lazy. So instead of making the new thing over again, and because I don't care at the moment that it's just a JPEG, I'm just going to snip this in a shape that will work for me. You got to make sure that I don't trigger the thing, the outline. Okay, now I've got a basic logo. That's all it takes, kids. Okay, so I'm going to save this as, and I would probably get rid of the background on this, but I'm just demonstrating quick and dirty. So I'll do Honey by Harry, wide. And then over here, I'm going to do, I kind of actually like this. So to be honest, even though I did the other one, I kind of like this. I'm going to tweak that just slightly. And I'll just do this square. And I'll use that for the main site icon. And a lazy trick I can do is I could just do this by itself, you know, like move the handle over, but I'm just going to do it this way because I'm lazy. And I'm going to say Honey by Harry site icon, HBC, HBH site icon. All right. So now I got two things on my desktop, hopefully desktop. Let's just check in with what we're doing. And then we're going to go back to the actual live site because that part is super fun. It changed the ratio or the look to 45 degrees. Sharon's got a great idea. I mean, I could have the antenna coming out. I could do so many cool things. That is one of the pleasures of working with tools like Canva, is that lay people can just drag shit around. I've had sometimes like a whole day futzing around. I just only have an hour roughly for today's show. So I could just go OCD and get stuck into there, and that wouldn't help any of you. Let's see whether or not the Flow video came out. I'm curious to see whether it included what I'd asked it to do. So with the Flow video thing, I can see the original is at the API level. When I open it up, and then I can import it in the media library, I can tell that it didn't take my source. So one of the things I'm going to have to improve on that plugin is to give it a source file like you might do otherwise. Okay, so it just it did okay. It made a bunch of people dancing around, but it didn't reference the source file. So c'est la vie. But what is cool is that I've now got an asset of people dancing that I might be able to include. They're going, honey, honey. I could probably include that with my other assets to make a 30-second clip to promote Harry's thing on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. Let's go to the actual site. So what I did is I've got a site here, Honey by Harry. This is using Rocket. I have nothing set up. So I'm going to start from scratch with you guys. And I've got some instructions that Harry gave me, very minimal, but he's got like a Stripe account and all that stuff. What we do here is we're not going to make it difficult. We're going to add in the main plugin, which is Launch Kit, wplaunchify.com software bundle. You can get this for free just by downloading the Launch Kit installer. This is for everybody to use. If you use it for free, obviously there's a limited feature set, but it's still useful. And let me close a couple things because bye-bye Canva. And where is, I guarantee I'm gonna lost. I've already gotten lost with the window that I had open. So hold on one second. I think I just essentially went here. No, I did not. I don't know what I did. So, oh, here it is. Let's pull that to the end so I don't get lost. Let's upload that. And this will enable, when you're a WP Launchify software bundle member, us to get all the software we need in one spot with no hassle. This has been revolutionary for many of you because it's just eliminated so many troubles. And I've got a new version of this coming out as well that is AI enabled so that all of the updates and everything else don't even have to be managed by you. But for now, just from simplicity standpoint, you put in your WP Launchify credentials and you'll get access to the latest software bundle. We really need a minimal amount of stuff here. And even though I'm starting from scratch, I'm talking fast, just click Update Software Bundle and you'll get the latest stuff. And we can install all of the plugins easier than doing it selectively, and we'll turn on what we need. So I'm just going to install all of the stuff, even though I'm not going to technically use it, because look at it's just go. This would be a great time for sound effects. If I had, that's a gunshot. You, ladies and gentlemen, that was worthy of applause. I wonder if it has a sound. Now that we've got that, let's go to plugins. And oh, one of the other things you want to do in Launch Kit for sure to avoid all the spammy stuff is let's install Kadence theme, and let's do the stuff in the settings tab that get rid of all of the worst parts of WordPress. Just check this box, uncheck the second box, and all of these features will hide all of the spam and the spray paint under the bridge and all that sort of stuff that we just don't need or want. And what we're going to do now is, somebody texting me, is we're going to go ahead and turn on some plugins. And the things we're going to do, first of all, would be related to Kadence, because we need just some of those underneath what we're achieving. Notice there are some plugins that I still have to update today, which I will do. That's part of my job. But let's go to Kadence, or we could just type Kadence. We're going to turn on Kadence Blocks Pro, and Kadence Pro theme. That's all we really need. There are other things that we could do, but for the moment. Next, we're going to turn on WooCommerce launch flows, WooCommerce subscriptions, maybe WooCommerce checkout. That will allow us to customize some other stuff. So let's go check. Let's do WooCommerce. Let's do WooCommerce checkout manager. We're going to do Stripe Gateway ultimately. I don't think I'll connect it today, but I might. WooCommerce subscriptions, maybe, and WooCommerce price string. These will give us control over what we need. We also need WP Fusion. We can do the enhanced e-commerce later. And then finally, we're going to use Fluent CRM because we want to have this run by Fluent CRM as well. Fluent Forms maybe, but right now that's not imperative. So let's just do Fluent CRM. Now, one of the tools that I have in LaunchKit is a recipe generator. I have a list. When I normally do this, and I don't know why I didn't think of it a moment ago, I just put the list in of the plugins to activate, and it just does this all for me. But because I'm doing this with you, it's easy enough. Fluent SMTP we would probably use in real life as well because we want to actually connect this. We'll put that in for testing. We want to connect it to an SMTP service like Brevo so that Harry can do marketing and not worry about, being turned off because he's sending too many, emails. Rocket.net, for example, does not actually do email. So we need an outside service anyway. But you could use something as simple as Gmail. I prefer to use Brevo because it's a 2-second setup. And I think you can send something like 50,000 emails a month for pennies. I mean, $19 maybe. Okay. The first thing I set up, and I do this really fast, is I'm going to set up Fluent CRM just because we need that above everything. So settings, and this is where you'll put the client information in. And you can do this really fast. I'm just going to do, for now, honeybyharry.com. I'll put the street address in later. And remember, we had that logo. We can add the logo now from my desktop, so we'll have it for both purposes. And we've got Honey by Harry wide, Honey by Harry site icon. Let's add them both to the library. And I'm going to use probably, this is for Fluent CRM, so I might just use this one. This one might be nice too. So actually, I'll do this one. It might be safer. Okay. Really simple. And then we just need a list. The list should be thought of like the singular place where all of the contacts go. So I'm just going to call it main list. We do not need multiple lists for a business that doesn't have multiple business lines. If the customers are at all going to be related, they should all be in one list, but we'll need other tags. Now, for now, I'm just going to do sample tag 1 and sample tag 2, but we're going to specifically make tags dynamically with WooCommerce based on his products or other things that we want to do for marketing automation. You can install Fluent Forms if you need, but we're just not going to do anything with it. We're not going to opt into doing any of the further stuff. Okay, so now we've got that. Let's go to the dashboard and just enable some of the features, including the integration with WooCommerce, as well as what happens by default. So if you go to settings, and I just do the basic or general settings, we want to enable the sync between contacts and users so that they stay together. We're not going to delete the contacts if you delete them as users. We want them to always be added to the main list if they sign into WordPress for any other reason. I don't care about double opt-in because I have other ways to check that they're real people. I don't really care about role-based mapping, and I don't really care about comments, but I do want to use this feature which says if they're in the database for the CRM, use that information when they go to checkout. Why make them type twice? Next, I'm going to also do the integration with WooCommerce here, which will add them to the main list, and will also make them instantly subscribed, which is just super easy. We're done. Next, let's go to Fluent CRM. So we go to settings, WP Fusion. I don't know why I said that twice. WP Fusion, we're going to choose Fluent CRM, and we're going to choose local, this site. We just connect it, magic ensues, and then we choose which lists and any tag if we want them to be added. Be sure to click Save Changes. Here we're going to choose the list of main list, and default list is also main list. We don't need to add any tags or anything else, but we do want to create them as a contact, and that's all we need to do right now. There is an option which is super awesome that allows the dynamic creation of tags in WooCommerce, and that is available, I think, in the integrations tab. You'll notice here, WooCommerce, apply tags to customers. Then we've got all these other options. One of the neat things about this is WooCommerce order status tags, email opt-in stuff, subscriptions. We've got lots of really powerful stuff to do. One of the things, or that we could do, one of the things that I'm not sure about, and I'm thinking for a second, is on the products themselves, there's the ability to create dynamic tags. Let me double check that. Hold on. WP Fusion, dynamic tags, WooCommerce, Fluent CRM. I wonder if it's available in Fluent CRM. Hold on. I have to check the reference here. WP Fusion, WooCommerce, product tags. Let's see what happens. I cannot remember where this feature is located, but there's a dynamic tag creation. I'm in the right spot. Automatic tagging. Here we go. With some CRMs, and I wonder which ones those are. Maybe it's not Fluent. That's the reason. Hold on. Product. You would think after working with this every day, I would know. This is my point where I like to share with you. Sometimes I have to refer to our own documentation. Even for launch flows, I'm sometimes reading it like, what is this guy talking about? And I'm the one who wrote it. Automatic tags. So I don't know if this is available here. I'm thinking maybe it's not. Maybe it's only available in another situation, and I'll worry about that later. Because it doesn't show it, so I'm assuming that it's not working. Okay. Doesn't really much matter. Now we've got this set up. We can move on to WooCommerce setup. WooCommerce is really easy to set up, and so is launch flows. Let's do launch flows first. Click on launch flows, and we just want to enable a few things. First of all, we want to go ahead and enable the product thumbnail, the product removal link, and the product quantity when we're doing a checkout. We probably want to use the email. So use the email for username and add first and last name to the registration because we need that information. I don't think we have to worry about too many of the other things at the moment, but what we want to do is make a thank you page. And since we're in Kadence and we've got Kadence blocks, we could just make this super easy. Let's just go ahead here to pages, add new. And there's a pattern that you can use at patterns.launchflows, or you can just do this on your own. Just go to the very end or type in thank you, and you'll go to this pattern here, which I've used for years. And the reason this is easy is all you got to do is go to a page, paste this in, say thank you. Sometimes I have to actually do this. I have to delete the short code, publish it. I do not know why, but I'm coming out with an updated version of LaunchFlows, so this will be a moot point. Once I've saved it, then the trick is to just hit the back arrow and then save again. I don't know why. Somehow Gutenberg is unhappy the first time you save it. Whatever. Now that we've done that, I can just use the back button, leave, and I go back over here and I'm going to choose the thank you page as the default inside of the WooCommerce settings, because that way, no matter what, somebody will end up at the thank you page after purchase. And once I've done that, let's set up the rest of it. First of all, let's do accounts and privacy, where we want to make sure there's no guest checkout. Guest checkout is bad for your business. We do want to enable login during checkout. We want them to create an account only during checkout, not on the My Account page. We do want to use the password setup link. That's the easiest way to onboard somebody immediately. And then they just get an email that says, hey, if you want to change your password, just click here. Super simple. Save changes and we're done. Notice I also removed the checkout privacy policy because I don't need that extra wording cluttering up the page. If we go to advanced, then we can set up the terms of conditions if we have them. Thankfully, there's none in there. Do not use those. That will add the checkbox that will just slow down checkout. Finally, let's modify the checkout page that uses right now, unfortunately, what is not quite ready for prime time. Oh, WooCommerce, I want to love you so much sometimes, but I can't. This thing is still broken. So we have to remove their default Gutenberg block and instead just use the option for launch flows. Add a checkout to this post. Done and done. I also personally like to modify the My Account area. So I'll go to the WP admin appearance again, and under the WooCommerce options, appearance, customize, under the WooCommerce options, we'll change it so that the My Account thing is on the left with the words, because we're in the United States, reading left to right. Also, even though I haven't done any design stuff here, what I'm going to do is let's do some basic navigation menu. So for that, I like to be in the ordinary level of WordPress. I go to Appearance Menus, and then I just add the basic things to the primary menu. So for this, I enable primary menu, make a menu name called primary so that it matches up. And I'm going to add the basic things that I need. So Harry is going to need a shop. He's going to need a checkout. I don't usually use a cart. I just go direct to checkout, but I'm going to add this in for the moment. And the My Account page. There's going to be a need to be a home page, and I'm going to just make the sample page that, and I'll rename it. Let's organize these logically. So sample page becomes home page. My Account always goes at the end. Next comes shop. The cart, I'm going to remove the cart because I'm going to do that differently. I'm going to show you how we can put the little icon in there, the little tchotchke in the menu, which would be nice. Let's change the name of the sample page because we're going to turn that into our home page. So the way we want to do that is first go to Settings, Reading, and we're going to make the home page out of that. Static page, home page, sample page. That is to say, we don't want to show the blog or something else. We want to show that. Then when we go to that page itself, we can change the name of this to homepage. Now, some cool stuff's going to happen in a second. So I'm not going to do all this draggy droppy stuff. I'm just getting the framework set up. One of the things also that's going to happen is you'll notice that as time goes on, we don't, with my minute launch system, you don't even have to do this nonsense because all of this will be done programmatically instantly just by telling Fernando. When I launch new clients, I don't need to do any of this stuff. I'm showing you how to do that because I don't have the tool for you quite yet. But when I do, this will all just be like, hey, Fernando, set up the site. Done. Okay. We're not going to do Fluent SMTP at the moment, but what we can do is set up the trap so that we can see the emails. And for that, we're just going to do regular here. Let's just go to settings. Let's just pick any old mail provider from Harry at Honey by Harry. I don't know what his real email is going to be, so I'm just going to put this in for the moment so that I can save a setting. And what I do is I turn on the trap, disable sending all emails. That means that I can just play around and see the emails, and he can see the emails, but they don't really go out. We could just do an email test. For the header and the rest of that stuff, let's go also add one other plugin. In LaunchKit, we can add the Admin Menu Editor Pro, so we can organize things alphabetically, which makes my life much easier. Notice there was a lot of updates because Friday is like turn loose the updates day. So I have to still update a bunch of stuff today, and you will get that at your end. But when I do the Admin Menu Editor Pro, then I can alphabetize the left side, and it's easier for me to do all these other steps. So I activate that, and then I just go into it, and I do the sorting vertically. Settings. And then I just use this doodad here, A to Z. I like to put the dashboard on the top. I put a spacer in, and then if I have a bunch of extra spacers for now, I just put them above and below. No big deal. I can delete them or use them later. Okay, now that it's alphabetical, I've got the header. And so for that, I just do appearance, customize again. I could go to header another way, but I'm going to just do this way. Go to header. Now I can use those logos that we talked about. And for that, out of the box, we could see the plain Jane thing here. Let's click on the logo that's already in place. And instead of logo and title, I'll just say logo. And I'm going to select that wide format image that I had just made a minute ago. Really super easy. I'm going to, for some reason, I don't have to crop it, but I could crop it. I could make it a little narrower just to make it as low profile as possible. And then when that's in place, I can adjust it slightly, but it actually worked out of the box. 200 is pretty sweet. Okay. Next is I've got the option if I want of setting up the other things like site icon. And for that, we want to use the square. And yes, Sharon's advice would be awesome. The antenna coming out would be pretty cool. I'm done with that. Next, what I like to do is click publish so I don't lose that. And then let's get rid of the WordPress theme by Cadence because I love Cadence, but we don't need to give them free advertisement. So I just go to the copyright and I get rid of theme credit. We could put other stuff in there. I do not, as a matter of practice for my clients, put my name in there either because they paid me for the job. Or my friend, gave me honey. There's no purpose for me advertising on their site. That's just not right. But you might have a different opinion. I just remove it. And then there's other stuff we can do. Remember I said we're going to do that tchotchke. Let's go to the header. I want to do that little shop tchotchke instead of the cart. So I go back to header. And here I've got an option that says HTML cart. Let's put that to the right of the navigation or to the left. I think it might be better to the left. I'm on the fence about it. I'm going to do it to the left. And then we can set it up to be a choice of what it looks like. That looks like a bucket. That looks like a cart. And then it can either just be a link, which is cool, or a pop-out cart or a drop-down cart, which is actually from the right side, not a bad way of going, so that when you click on it, it's not bad. I'm not a big fan of that because I just go right to checkout. But if you're going to have that in a e-commerce where people might buy and want to look at stuff, it's not a bad option. One of the things to mention also is that even though when you do the direct to checkout, you want to turn off Ajax add to cart. If you are using this feature, you probably want to just leave it alone. Kind of a weird quirk of WooCommerce, but c'est la vie. Okay, now for the menu, we can also edit, by the way, just see where my account, that bugs me. I always edit that my little a account into big A. So I go to appearance menus and we're pretty much on our way. My A big account. Okay, so what do we got? We got Fluent CRM, we got WooCommerce, we got WP Fusion, we have launch flows. We need to make some products. Now, Harry had given me some products, and let me see what he said about his pricing. I'm going to open up this email on my other computer first. He said he charges $18 for the High Holidays honey jar. So I don't know what else he's going to do, but let's bring in Chickachi Fernando. I'm going to use Claude Fernando at the moment. And let's see if Claude Fernando is enabled with all the special stuff that I mentioned. I had said last Friday that I've got a new DXT file that will work on desktop. And right now, that is not, I was wondering, that is not available in the browser version. It's only available in the desktop version. Let me think if I want to use, I'm going to make this easy. I'm just going to show you how to use regular old Claude ChatGPT without the special stuff, because the special stuff is cool. It can self-publish, but I don't need to do that because we can do copy and paste. So here's what I'm going to do. What I do at this point is I'm going to upload the image that he gave me, the High Holidays stuff. First of all, of just that one, of the one product. And I think it was here. It was named something unusual. Hold on. Well, you know what I can do? I can use the stuff that I just made, but let me see. Hold on. There we go. High Holidays honey. Okay, so hi, I'm running a WooCommerce e-commerce shop, and this is a new product. I'm charging $18 for this. It's High Holidays honey. It's specifically kosher Parev and so forth. I need you to make me the product description and layout in HTML5 that I can use as a sales page for this. Do some research onto the benefits and the features of having honey specifically for the high holidays that would appeal to somebody who, let's say, lived on the North Shore of Chicago, Illinois, around this time of year, September. All the reasons that it would be appealing, as well as easy to buy and a great value. Write it out in HTML5 and kind of pick up some of the colors from both the label as well as the logo that I've attached. And I'm also going to give it, in addition to that, I'm going to give it this other stuff that we just made, which are the 2 other honeybee logos. Because my brain works fine, but I don't need to think that hard to get the basic thing started. And I'm asking it for HTML5 because, as I mentioned, even though we're using Kadence, I am not going to drag and drop this goddamn sales page. I'm going to use Fernando's cousin here and let him or her do it. And I can also take, by the way, the new logo and add it back over into Nano Banana to have that incorporated along with the image into something super cool. So let's actually do that. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to upload those files that I had, which was, I'm going to use the site icon one, but I'm going to use that and that. Listen, I'm making a new product in WooCommerce and I've got these new logos and icons. Can you merge these all together into a product that I'm creating for the high holidays to be sold to people on the North Shore of Chicago in the fall of 2025? I want you to put together a compilation image that might have some festivities and other things related to that thing. Merge the concept of the honey jar and some of the outside stuff with this new logo. Use your discretion. Now, that's a shitty prompt, but I'm getting better at doing this, and I'm trying to be expedient because we're an hour into this, that you don't have to hit the bullseye every time, okay? You need to just get shit done fast and then iterate. So what we're doing here is climbing a mountain, like one handhold at a time, making progress. I mean, I'm going to have, within the next 2 to 3 minutes, the full product ready to sell on his website and a homepage. And I'm using 2 different, in this case, free or paid Fernando's LLMs to help me make the stuff. That is what we're shooting for in this new world. If we go back to Fernando 1, we can ask, by the way, for a specific preview. I'd say, can you show me a preview in your code canvas here? If you ask for code canvas, oh, that is not what I want to do. Show me a preview. That'll open up the sidebar. Okay, and I don't like this, okay? I do not like that at all. It is way too hokey. It looks like it was made by AI. Can you please make it more realistic and more in the style of something that would be sold by somebody who is trying to do photorealistic website stuff? I mean, this is just looks like a toy. I don't like that. That's a bad prompt too. I'm lazy. I'm admitting to you. This is how I do shit. I just throw it against the wall. But if I see something I don't like, I tell it what I don't like. This just looks like, you know, AI generated it. I think I was reading about how to do better prompts. And what I've been doing is building tools based upon my successes. So you might have noticed, and I want to show you guys this, when I did the emails this week, and I'll share with you my actual emails, I did these via AI. So for example, this one really got a great response. It got 24% open rate, good click rate. This was fully generated by a template. And then the template was great because it really got such a good click rate and everybody enjoyed, I think, the format. Maybe you feel the same, that I used it again today. So I made a template out of it, and you'll notice the similarities. And I think this is the secret, is that once you start making something, you need to save it as templates. And in doing so, you get a better result the next time and the next time. Update your canvas to show me. I don't think it's showing me the new version because it says V1. Oh, never mind. There it is. Hold on. Is it V3? This is better. Still a little hokey. Okay, I like that better, but I need you to show the featured images and or a placeholder for it. And I want you to make it fun. This is a little too clinical. Can you find somewhere in the middle? And also from the images that I showed you a minute ago, you've got, or I'll include here, you've got some great background shots of Lake Michigan along the shores of Glencoe. That's where the company is based. You can see in the product shot, like Lake Michigan in the background. I'll give you a couple things to use here. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to give it a couple slugs. Oh, look at that fabulous thing. I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download that. And I'm going to download, because I might need it. I'm going to download this doodad. And I'm going to also take this. Notice I've got the tools working kind of in concert with each other, if you think about it, because I'm having one thing do the images, one thing do the copywriting, one thing doing, this, that, and the other. All right, so let me give this Claude a couple extra doodads to work with. I would probably put these into a drive or into my website first so that I can manage them, but I'm just trying to do this quickly. So I'm just going to give them these, see if I overload the system, because Claude browser, very sensitive to, holy shit, I put too much stuff in. But watch what it does with this. Now it kind of gets a sense of what I'm going on about. And it could probably make something out of it. I noticed, by the way, because I live in this area, that this is not accurate. I mean, it could be accurate, but that's the city of Chicago. So technically speaking, to see this view, they would have to be in Indiana, which is not really going to happen. This would be like from the view of Lansing, Illinois, or Gary, Indiana. There would be an industrial plant, probably. So I'm going to tell it, hey, I love the fact that you compiled that image with the city of Chicago in the background. But if you really thought about it, those people would be standing on the shores of Gary, Indiana, which is not likely where they would celebrate a high holiday. Can you adjust it so it looks more like they're sitting on the beach or standing on the beach in Glencoe, Illinois, looking out? The city skyline would be a different view. It would be like a south view from the north, not a north view from the south. Okay, let's see if it comes in and fixes this, which that's kind of amusing. These are the little nuances too, like people show up with 6 fingers and stuff like that. I mean, not a big deal, but if you're really paying attention, you want to make sure you don't do some crazy stuff that people go, what? Let's see what it comes up with. It's doing some weird shit with the, you went back to Cartoonland. You went back to Cartoonland and it looks way, 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 way too much like it was made by AI. I don't need a header. I don't need any footer. This is going to go on the content of a product page. Can you please make it more a simple palette of colors, only like the colors that are in the label or the logo, and just make the font appropriate, similar to the label. Just pick up from the label most of the inspiration and do not make this look like an AI generated gimmick. That is still a bad prompt, but I'm just trying to rush through this. And then what I'm going to do too, this is interesting. We're Fernando or whatever. Let's go to our product. And we know this is an $18 product. So what we're going to do is make the product so we can give it the direct to checkout link. And that's going to be really helpful for making this fast. So go over here to products, add new. Chicka-chee, Fernando. And we're going to call this, what did he say? It's called Harry's High Holiday Honey, I think. Hold on. It's called High Holiday Honey. Again, I can do this programmatically with Fernando or otherwise. I'm just going to do this while I'm waiting. And to make this work, we're going to do, this is a physical product, but it is simple. It's $18. And launch flows, we're going to go to checkout, right? And then afterwards, we're going to go to thank you. Here's where it's really important. You need to choose blank template because we're going to put in the HTML5 stuff that we made. WP Fusion, we want to make a tag. We're going to say purchased high holiday honey. We're going to add new tag right from here. We're going to set the product image using what we were just talking about, which is we can upload one of those great images. I think the one that we'll use is either the lakefront or this one. I kind of like the lakefront because it's very colorful. So we're just going to use that one. And make sure you make your alt tags so that if somebody needs to read this on another device, or if they have a disability that they can't visually see it, that will read to them what it is. Okay. The reason we're going to publish this is that now we're going to just take the direct to checkout link, and instead of it being added to the cart, which it could be, yes, we're going to give this as the method for the sales page. I'm going to say, by the way, use this as the call to action link on all buttons to buy or links to buy. So we can actually generate this in line. And that's important because we don't need to be wasting our time anymore making that stuff. Oh, much better. Much, much, much better. And one of the things I'm also going to do is I'm going to upload to the media library, just because it'll save me the step. I'm going to upload those other images. Ideally, I would optimize those and make sure that they're the right size. And how do I do that? I do that using Tiny PNG, or I can just ask Fernando to do it. So if I go back over here, it totally did not get what I was talking about, because that is just wrong. I will make this again later, but what I'm going to say is this. Hold on. I'm not going to worry about this because you guys get the idea. That image is just wrong, but I do like the image to a certain extent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a job to do, or maybe I'll do it myself. Let me show you how I do it myself. I would download this, and I would download, I think I already have this one. And I also have, let's ask it for a couple things. Can you give me 3 images that are rectangular shaped, 16 by 9, showing honey being applied to various things like matzah or bread? Oh no, you can't do that. To matzah or to food that is kosher parev, and or somebody enjoying honey dripping off of the matzah while they eat it. I want to use these for the product shots. So Fernando, right now, I'm using in the Google Studio. This is actually Nano Banana. This is the Flash 2.5, Gemini Flash 2.5. What I normally use is I either use Imagen, which is inside of Flow, or I've been using just off-the-shelf Claude, or anything that comes out. So what's interesting is, depending on what you're trying to do, John's question is which image generator to use. If you're trying to do something like put a Fu Manchu mustache on or do whatever, right now Gemini Flash 2.5 seems to be the leader of the pack, but there are way more tools available. And by the way, just for shits and giggles, I want to show you, yesterday I mentioned this. Yesterday I was at dinner with my son. We went to tacos. We rode our bikes, and I used their new tool, Storybook. No, that's not the tool I used. I used their new tool, which was, this is the wrong account. I'm in a different account. I think I might have used this one. It was on my phone, but I used the new tool that allowed me to create these. That's interesting too. Where did I create it from? Anyway, I'm going to show you what I did. And there's tools in here that are really super fun with creating images. One of them that was pre-made was, and this is the wrong thing. So I'm going to go Gemini. I think it's this. Let's see. I feel like I'm lost with how many goddamn products there are. That's the problem right now. There's so many products, and I have no idea which thing is which. And I really mean I'm frustrated by this, because everybody's competing and it's just so awesome, but I feel like a kid in a gigantic candy factory, and I never know where the hell I am. Let me do Gemini. I was on my phone. That's why I'm having trouble. 2.5 flash image retro generator. They had this tool that I used yesterday that was so fun that made like, here we go. Okay. How did I get to it? I went into Try Nano Banana. I hate this. I love this. I hate this. I hate this because I know what I'm looking for, and it made this. Here it is, past forward. This was fun. I put in a picture of my son, put in a picture of his mom, put in a picture of me. I'm going to put a picture of me right now just for shits and giggles, or Fernando. Let's do Fernando. Okay. I'm putting Fernando in, and it's going to show Fernando. This is really fun. It's going to show Fernando in a couple generations. I thought this was a great demo of what this technology can do, because this can generate live applications, but just this thing alone was clever, because it'll take him and make him in like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and so forth. Mine was much more fun because the one that I had created for myself, and I wonder if I can grab the image here. Not bad. See, Fernando in like the 60s, the 70s, 80s, it's just different clothing. But for me, it actually picked up the background. And let me see if I can grab the actual image URL of this and share it with you here. I thought it was so fun because for myself and my son and everything else, like it was dead on. It was really, really funny. Let me see if I can copy this. Hold on. Open with preview. Here, let me see if I can get a... This is where I'm unfortunately on my Macintosh. So always so many troubles. Let me see if I open up preview, if that'll get it. I can just copy it and maybe paste it. Hold on. Share. iCloud sharing. Okay. Anyone with the link. Let's see if this works or not. It worked, so, but here, copy. Open with. Copies of path. Let's see. I have no idea why it's not showing it, but let's just try it. Everything is so difficult. Okay. So it did this. This is kind of funny. You probably can't see it that much, but like it took a headshot of me and, you know, showed me in different barber shops or in wherever I was at the time. I was at Sophia's getting my hair cut. So look in the background and you'll see that it actually changed the barbershop styles from the 60s and the 50s. This is weird because I lived in the 80s and nobody's barbershop looked like that. The 70s were kind of funny. I definitely remember the wood paneling and so forth. The 90s, I mean, I looked a lot younger, but that's probably what I would have been wearing then. And the 2000s, I don't know why I think I'm so gray. Maybe I need some Grecian formula. But anyway, I thought that was pretty amazing. Let's wrap this up because I want to show you the final result. And let's see if we close some of these windows. We've got this, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to give it the images. So it gave us some product shots. There we go. Challah bread, matzah, apples. It's way ahead of me. So I'm going to take these two images. I'm going to put these inside of my live site. Why? Because then I can give the real images to Fernando. And what I would do, by the way, is I would ask Fernando to optimize them. But since I'm not using, let's say, all automatic tools, just use tiny PNG. And for right now, I don't want that image. I probably want that image. This one's good, but it's just the wrong size and shape. And I would normally crop that. So I'm just going to do these two images just to give me something else. So they're 211 kilobits. When I optimize it, they go on 86. So now I just click and download, and I'm going to just add these manually at the moment into the product gallery. So easy, easy, easy. Actually, we don't need them in the product gallery. I'm just going to add them in the media library. And the reason is because we're going to give these images to Fernando. So we're going to give optimized 1 and 2. And that way I can just say to Fernando, here's the things that I want you to add, right? So I'm going to copy this URL. So he's got lake view, family photo, product detail, and main image. So we need one more image maybe, but let's just give him the other one here. Copy to clipboard. Again, this would be much better if we had optimized the names and stuff, but I just want to get you through this. And it's pretty cool to me, even with all my cool toys and yapping and everything, like, this should not be an all-day affair. This is, this is like pretty low key. What I can do here is I can probably crop this one, and I'm lazy. So what I'm going to do is just, again, Spence snipping tool magic. Just going to do that because I don't care. And I could crop it farther, but I'll save this as family lake. If it was cropped and made proper, like I showed you before, it will not cause the weird image layout issues, but I'm going to see whether or not Fernando can manage that. And by the way, you might have noticed I keep saying Fernando, but like, it's not really Fernando. It's whatever tool I'm using. I just say Fernando instead of saying my LLM because it sounds mental when I keep saying LLM. That is not what I want to do. I wanted to just copy the image. So let me just copy the URL. Hang with me. We are 99.9% done. I want you to make sure to crop these images appropriately so that they are, square shots or whatever, and just put them in line. Make the links to the actual URLs. Those are on my WordPress website right now. Thanks. Okay, so this will give me the final page layout, including the images and a functional gallery without me having to do any of the code. Now, some people ask me, hey, Spence, isn't that a problem? Because I can't modify that in the future. And they talk like that too. And I say, no, it's not, because the thing is, we're going to have Fernando or his cousin do the edits in the future. Like I just showed you how we made this. When we do the next thing, we're going to do the next thing with Fernando. I'm not going back to moving the page builder stuff around. It isn't going to happen. And anybody who thinks they're going to do that is just kind of out of their minds, right? Are you able to show the preview images in the canvas, code canvas here or not? I wonder if it can put those in. Oh, okay, it can't. So what we're going to do is just copy the code. And let's go back to the site. And remember, let's close this. Remember, we were saying we're going to be in Launch Flow's blank template. The reason that that's important is we're going to go here now. And I have a plugin for this that's coming out, which is the Spence style. But in the meantime, we're just going to use the HTML to hold this. The Spence style will give us much greater control. What I also am going to do is I'm going to make this full width, unbox, disable, disable. That will make sure that the design that it gave me will fill the page. And let's see what we got. Okay, we needed to change the images. It did do the add to cart, so let's tell it. Okay, but I do need you to change the HTML markup to use those real live image URLs. Those are on my website. Please do that. Otherwise, I don't have a way to demonstrate this. Okay, it says it's doing it. Maybe I have the wrong version. Oh, I'm on the wrong version. That's why. Okay, so I copied an earlier version. So ta-da, I just updated it, right? Like no dragging and dropping. I just said, hey, make sure the shit's the right images. Ta-da. Now let's see if I like it. It needs, one of the images is too big. So I'm going to tell Fernando, couple things. I love what you did, but the problem is when I go through images, the size of one of the images crunches down on the thumbnails. Also, make sure the default image is the product shot that shows the jar, and the other ones are secondary. Okay. This is the prompt that I'm going to be doing, folks. I'm not going to be, oh, I got to go back into the editor and change the thing and move around the order. And no, I'm going to talk to Fernando, whatever Fernando I've got, and say, you fix it. And it's going to fix the artifact. And then what's cool about this is I'm also going to have it make the email from whatever we got to tell people what we're buying. So the entire thing is done. The entire website, the marketing campaign, the sales page, all of the stuff is done and is with Spence yipping and yapping the whole time. Okay. Let's save it, update it. It didn't quite get what I meant. I need to show it what I mean. So I'm going to do a snapshot. This is very helpful sometimes. Otherwise, I love what's happening here. And I just use my snipper tool and I go like put some red around it. I go, yeah, but you didn't fix the spacing. Can you make sure that you crop the images or do something to mask them with CSS or otherwise? Or just take the images and give me back the formatted images so they properly style. But the bottom line is it's just munged up there. That's a technical term, munged up. You're right. Of course I'm right, because at least as of today, I'm still the human being. One of the things that I want to share with you too is I play in a band and I've been making this new app for myself because I selfishly want it. We play in a practice room where I have a big TV like Sharon. And I want to make song lists and stuff. And I use tool like Guitar, Ultimate Guitar, whatever. I wanted to be able to have a tool that I can use on my phone to project to the TV of whatever songs I want, like Jackson Browne. And I found that the internet has got all kinds of crazy problems. Let's do Eagles. Let's do Take It Easy or Desperado. I wanted to be able to create my own song lists, edit it, organize it, filter it. I noticed, by the way, that I've got a new version here to 4.37. Let's see if I update this. Hold on, 4.34. I have been building this with the techniques that I've been showing you so that it will be a final plugin that for my own selfish reasons is better than anything I can buy. And the reason for that is because I can. So I am able to now say, you know, Eagles or sort by title, whatever. But once I get what I want, here's the part that was cool to me. When I want to practice, I'm not sure about some of these choices, but like sometimes the chords that you know are shown are in the wrong spot. And so it's really neat to be able to just tweak the position where the chord change happens. I don't know if you can see that, and then save it. So being able to build my own custom solution that I can use while we're practicing and drag and drop and sort and organize the song list is like incredibly handy. And I'm able to build this. I built this morning over coffee just on a whim. And then I can create a practice playlist too. I can choose which songs, you know, in which order. So if we're going to perform or something, I just wanted to share with you that that's where all of this is going, is that the ability to build these custom apps for any purpose is awesome. So it fixed the thumbnail issue. Let's bring this baby in for a landing. And then I'm going to give you a hint as to what's coming, because you guys are always so generous with your time and patience, but I'm hopefully delivering the goods. It's just every time I think I'm done, something amazing happens. Okay, much nicer, still not fixed. I will work on this, but what do we have? We have the ability to add this to cart. This should go to the checkout. It does. I would probably put in the checkout manager plugin. I'll do that later to get rid of the extra fields I don't need, like country code, because I know Harry is not shipping this to Canada or anything, but we've got everything we need all in one spot. The shop itself, the site itself, I add Stripe Gateway. Harry's going to be happy. let's do finally the homepage, because I think we'd started out at some point. I forgot where we lost it. At some point, we had one of the Fernandos working on the homepage. Where is that? Let's see. That's guitar tabs. Maybe it was, no, it wasn't in this. I think, oh, I know what happened. We need to make this the homepage, right? So what I'm going to actually do is, you can't make this the homepage by itself, but what we can do is duplicate our efforts. So remember we had the sample page. I mean, you can make a product into a homepage, but you need a filter to do that. But if I just go here to what is called, I think now, homepage, or if I click on home, okay, let's just edit this page the same way, so that what happens is that really you can do more about Harry and all the rest, which I probably will do, but sometimes it's enough to just simply use the sales page as the home page. That could be enough, right? So I want to do HTML, paste in, and then in this case, that's actually all I'll need to do. Let's just say. Okay, so now when you go to the website, this is the first thing you see. All of it works the same. There's certainly going to be a couple tweaks that I'm going to do and everything else. But like when you go to Honey by Harry, this is the thing. What I'll probably do is take some of the stuff about Harry's social media and so forth, put it in place. Let's do the last step just to show you what I would do. So I've got the sales page. Now I'm going to say, I want you to generate an HTML5 email to send out to Harry's audience that is designed to go inside of Fluent CRM as a campaign. Make sure that you keep the format in the very same style as the sales page. Do not go off and do crazy stuff, but streamline it down to short and sweet and to the point. Use maybe one or two of the images so that it's easy to open, easy to read, and it clicks through to the actual sales page here, which is on the home page of this particular site. And I'll give you the URL here. And what I'll do is I'll give it the actual this product page, which ultimately will have his real domain in it, but that's okay. Okay. Now what it's going to do, it's going to give me copy. I'll put it into Fluent CRM as a draft, and I'm done. Harry's done. We can put other A/B testing and other things on it. But what I'm saying is, do not need to spend all of this time making these things. And when you've got the Minute Launch AI system in place, this kind of stuff will be persistent as a memory, as an artifact, so that like once it learns the style and your techniques and what you want to do for any particular client, then we can go farther with things. For example, like we're going to add details about who likes which type of product and why, and who bought which type of things and when. And then the emails can be customized to, hey, Spence, it's been a week since you bought honey. You probably need more. Or, oh, I know your aunt, Schmagegi is coming over for Passover. Maybe you want to order a gallon jug for her or whatever. You see, like you can customize the things as you wish. Where is it? Show in code canvas. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it gave me this, not too shabby, to be honest. Let's copy this. And what I would do here is copy. I go back over to the site. And now I'm going to leave this page and go over to Fluent CRM campaigns, and I'll put the draft in there. So I go campaigns, add new, create new. We'll call this High Holiday Honey Sale. We'll give it a real marketing title later or work on it. And I just go to the HTML raw, paste, look at it. So awesome. 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 And I'll call it Hi Honey. It already gave it a name, Hi Honey. I'm going to save this as a template. I click here, and unfortunately, they've got a little issue with this label. I don't know what's wrong with them, but when you do that, unfortunately, I got to inspect that. You have to, I don't know what's wrong with those guys, but the little drop down got hidden behind there from Fluent. There's a bug. It's a bug. I'm just going to say hide. No, that's too much. I'll save it later. There's a save button and it's opening a thing that's for some reason being hidden down there. But what you want to do is essentially save it as a template and then save it as a campaign. And then you could do like a preview email and see how it looks when you send it to yourself. Now, we can't send it out, remember, but what we can do is send a test email as if we were sending it out, and it will be caught. Let's give it a subject, High Holiday. I use the same thing here, High Holiday Honey Sale. It will get caught into the trap, and then we can see what it looks like. So, oh, we got to give it a subscriber too. So let's do, who is this going to? Set a custom name from, nope, can't do that. We have to add somebody. That's the problem. We don't have anybody as a contact. So let's do a fake contact. Or add one person. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Jones. Okay, main list. And the reason we need that is because otherwise the Fluent CRM is not happy if you're trying to send out a campaign to nobody. It has to be at least somebody. So now we have at least one person on our list. Send a test email. Okay. Now, when we do the Fluent SMTP, which is under settings, Fluent SMTP, we can see what that email would look like in a real sent out version. And we go over to email logs. And there it is. And so that is really not what it would look like. But it does give me some clue about one thing, by the way. It gives me a clue that we want to make sure that we tell the image not to be full width, because this actually might be true of some email clients. That's why it's a simulator. We want to make sure that it understands the width and everything else. All right, let's review what we got. Today, very pleased, got to share with you some of the new stuff that's available on the marketplace, as well as some of the toys that I'm building for myself and for you. Several of you, including John, are already live on the Minute Launch AI. If you're planning on joining, join up, because this weekend I'm making it my business to actually finally do the shop app and the rest of the stuff that I've been kind of getting distracted by, because we've got a list of clients that are already wanting to use some of the applications that we're building. But more importantly is that the desktop Agenta tool that I talked about, the DXT file for Claude, is also available that will allow you the power to do your own Fernando stuff and mix in some of the other things. But I hope what I impressed on you, thank you, Sharon, is that we're in a transitional phase between the horse and buggy and the flying electric cars. And that for somebody like me, who obviously is familiar with the tools, my entire purpose and goal is not to ever go back to riding a horse or picking up a shovel. It is entirely to get to the point where I have a agentic partner who knows everything what I want to do and does it for me. So if we looked at what I just did in the next iteration, Spence would tell Fernando to just set up the whole website. And I've got those tools. I showed it to you last Friday. I just have to bring them all together into a process. As my good friend Rob Carnes would say, a process, because he's from Toronto, that allows Fernando to know exactly what I'm trying to accomplish for 90% of my customers, right? Create products, create sales pages, create content, set up the website, set up the parameters of WooCommerce, put the Stripe gateway in, do the Fluent CRM. All that shit is bull crap, waste of time for a human being. And then you can see also when it comes to making images and logos, once I set up my guidelines, Fernando can talk to all of those tools. Fernando can talk to Canvas directly. He can talk to Gemini API directly. I don't need to do it. So I was on the WP Tonic show. You guys can watch that in my spencerforman.com if I put the link. We were talking about this exact topic, like, why is everybody wasting so much time building more tools for humans inside of WordPress? I have no idea. If you're with me, this is the future. Join me over at WP Launchify. Click on the shop and join the annual club for Minute Launch AI. Sharon, I'm talking to you because this is in addition to other things we do. I'm going to be making these cool things like I showed you 3 of them today that just keep spitting out. You can add your ideas to the list and I'll spit out yours. Fernando will. All right. Other than that, that's it. I just want to say thanks and hope you guys are enjoying what's happening. I'm going to continue, by the way, making these spontaneous videos during the week because my ultimate goal is to have Fernando putting out at least one video a day into the socials, into YouTube. Slice and dice. Magic will ensue. Have an amazing weekend. Talk to you guys soon.